Hi class, welcome back. So I'm sorry our classes were canceled this Thursday. It is because the school was having professional developments, like different sessions for teachers like myself and faculty. It was a great experience, but I missed seeing all of your faces. So I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you adverbs of frequency and two types of questions. So the idea is you will study this video and we will review and practice it more in class next week. If you have any questions, like always, go down to the bottom and send me a message, okay? Let's get started. So what are adverbs of frequency? The idea of frequency, if you are confused, is how often something happens, how many times it is repeated, the action is repeated, right? So here on my left, I have these very commonly used adverbs. There are different types of adverbs, but these are specifically adverbs of frequency. So, for example, always means 100%. Like, I will always love you, right? The opposite of always is never, which represents 0%. In the middle, 50, you have 50%, it's sometimes. So as you go down, you notice the numbers are getting smaller, right? Usually is 90%, often is 70%, seldom is 10%, rarely is 5%, and then we have 0, right, for never. Now, how do we use these? Well, if you take a look at these example sentences, we need to remember, if I deleted all these adverbs in the middle, you have your subject and your verb. For example, I study at night, right? And someone asks me, well, how often do you study? I never study at night, right? Or he, okay, because it's he, she, it in the simple present tense, you need to remember, right? You have the different endings, the S, ES, and IES endings. You still need that for these examples, for these sentences. But the difference is, every time I have a verb, right, on all of these verbs, I put my adverb in front, right? So for example, he sometimes, 50%, eats hamburgers. Or she always takes naps. Naps are wonderful. Sometimes when you have time, if you're not too busy, you can sleep for maybe 20, 30 minutes, right? Maybe during your lunch break. We usually come early, maybe to class, right? Or they often go to the movie theater. So in all of these examples, you have the subject and you have the verb. These action verbs are followed by this frequency. So you'd have to have the adverb of frequency first, and then the verb after, okay? Now, the be verb, as we remember, is very special. It is the only verb where the order will be switched, okay? So, let's take a look at some of those. Okay, as I mentioned, right? The be verb is special. It has its own set of rules. So the be verb is am, is, and are, right? There's 3 options. So, the examples before we looked at, for example, I drive to work. I always drive to work. The adverb of frequency goes first, and then I have my action verb, right? The be verb is different. I have my verb first, and then after I have my adverb of frequency, right? So for example, I am, the be verb, I am always hungry. That is true. Right? Or he is sometimes tired. Or she is usually happy. Or you are never 0%, right? You are never late. Or we are rarely on time, right? We are rarely on time means we're almost always late, okay? So these are the examples of adverbs, and we're going to have more practice examples in class, but I want to introduce to you these ideas. Next, we're going to be talking about the different types of questions, and I would like you at home to practice thinking about different questions you would like to ask me next Thursday, okay? Now, there are different types of questions in English, but the two most common are the ones we will look at. So we have two types. One is yes or no, meaning the answer, you only have two options, yes or no. The other is more information. We will look at this first. So, do you remember for negatives, I told you it's very important you remember do and does, right? For negatives, I do not eat hamburgers, right? For example, or he does not shower in the morning, right? So those same negatives, we use it in the same way, the do and does, for questions. So for example, I use I, you, we, they for do. Does is he, she, and it. Now, if the beginning of my sentence, if you see do or does, my answer will only be yes or no. So for example, do you eat breakfast? Yes, I do, right? Or no, I don't. Those are your only two options, right? Or does he drive to work? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Or no, he doesn't, right? You can also just say yes and no to make it easier. Now, the other option we have here, these are for action verbs, right? The be verb is always special. If you have a question that starts with am, is, or are, your only response, your only answer can be yes or no. So, for example, am I hungry? Yes, I am, right? Is she angry? Maybe no. No, she isn't, right? Or are we late? Yes, we are. Now, take a look at this format, right? We have do or does first, and we have the be verb first. After we have the subject, who, right? I, you, we, they, he, she, it. And then for the do or does action verbs, we have them here after who, right? For example, eat, drive, sleep, cook, work, right? These examples with the be verb, these are all adjectives, because we only have this one form of the verb, the be verb, right? So if you use the be verb, please remember, you need to include, for questions, it first. Don't switch the order. The answer you can have, for example, I am hungry. But for questions, it's a little strange, but you need to switch it. So, am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Do I want water? Right? I want you to practice writing some yes or no questions to ask me next week. Now, I'm going to show you these same questions, and I'm going to show you how to change it with more information responses, okay? So, we already reviewed yes or no questions. Now I want more information, answers. Meaning, I don't want an easy yes or no, I want you to talk to me, right? So, we have the same question. Do you eat breakfast? I cut this and moved it, right? These are the same questions. Nothing is different. We are going to change them together, okay? So, take a look. If I use one of these WH words, for example, who, in terms of a person, what, about a thing or what time, where is for a location, a place, why, right, is for a reason, how do you do something, which, now which is when you have two options, you need to choose. For example, which color do you like, blue or red, right? And when is time, okay? So if I choose one of these words and I cut it and I put it in front, it will change my question. So for example, when do you eat breakfast? Do you eat breakfast? Yes, I do. When do you eat breakfast? I eat breakfast at 5 a.m. Oh, okay. Now what about where? Where do you eat breakfast? I eat breakfast at home, right? Or who do you eat breakfast with? I eat breakfast with my dogs, right? So I can choose any of these words and put them in front. So for example, if I say when does he drive to work? He drives to work at 6 a.m., right? Same with these be verbs, okay? If I ask, am I hungry? Yes. But maybe I say, why? Why am I hungry? I already ate. Ate is the past tense of eat. I ate 2 minutes ago and I am hungry again. Why am I hungry, right? Or, the man's wife is angry. Why is she angry, right? Now, depending on what word you choose, sometimes you may need to change this order a little bit by including a preposition. But we will talk about that more in class. I only want to introduce to you these different types of questions. This will help you understand what I plan to teach you on next Thursday. Now, I want you to study these WH words. They will help you in creating these questions. Don't worry about feeling like you need to study all of this and understand it like that. It will take time, and we'll do a lot of speaking practice activities to make sure that you feel more comfortable using it in the classroom and outside the classroom, okay? If you have any other questions, please let me know, and I cannot wait to see you next Thursday. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.